welcome to this month's #Finance Friday. So April has arrived and we're onto a new theme. This month we're going to be looking at compliance. So it's so important, and I'll be explaining what it is, why it's important, and how it improves productivity and profitability within your business. So it's very fitting that Compliance Month falls in April, because April is also Freedom Month. And there is a saying that goes, the boundaries fall in pleasant places. So we feel that this is a great way to look at compliance and building towards a better future together. So you might be thinking, what is compliance? And Power DMS defines it like this. It's a process of making sure your company and employees follow all laws, regulations, standards, and ethical practices that apply to your organization and your industry. So it is a key part of your business, regardless of your industry. Keeping the way you do business above board and ethical is not just the right thing to do, but it can also help you save money in the long run. This is because complying with certain laws and regulations opens your business up to lawsuits or litigation from either the government or disgruntled employees and clients. So it is important to know what the laws and regulations are that govern our country and that govern your business. So there are two types of compliances we'll be looking at today: internal compliance and external compliance. So external compliance goes beyond your business. It's making sure that you're complying with the laws and regulations of the country that you're operating in. So it's important to know what these laws and regulations are and how they apply to your industry. So this allows you to structure your internal policies to keep you out of trouble and to make sure that you remain compliant. So the main purpose of compliance is to protect your business from committing crimes such as fraud, abuse, discrimination. So knowing where the legal line is allows you to set your processes and procedures so that you can make sure you adhere to all compliance matters and that you make sure that you are staying within the laws and regulations of the country, the laws and regulations that govern companies, and any other laws and regulations within your business and within your company that needs to be adhered to. So internal compliance covers the processes and procedures that happen within your business. So this relates to processes and procedures for employees and employers. So for example, the system for placing complaints, the requirements for work to be done, information regarding overtime, all of these are key to make sure that your employees know what is expected of them and so that they know what is right and wrong within the business. So now that we understand how compliance legally works, let's get into how it affects the productivity and profitability of your business. An effective compliance program ensures that there is a clear and constant communication between the leadership of the business and staff. So it needs to include a process for creating, updating, distributing, and tracking compliance policies. So there should also be an easy-to-access place where employees can find the rules and regulations of the company. Making this available ensures that there are no excuses for employees to not know the company policies and procedures and regulations that everyone needs to follow. So after all, employees can't be held responsible for rules and regulations that they didn't know exist. Making sure your employees understand the expectation that is placed on them makes it easier for them to focus on the wider goals of the company and work together as smoothly as possible. So making sure your employees are all well trained in compliance means that they are able to do their jobs well, reach their goals, and keep customers happy. Corporate compliance is about creating a work environment that values integrity and ethical conduct. So this starts at the top. Compliance is a team effort and is well worth the work in the long run. So when your company is compliant, it achieves goals and grows faster. Remember, a healthy work environment breeds good workers, and good workers are the key to a successful company. So if compliance is a new concept to you, here is how you can go about beginning its integration into your business. So firstly, start with a risk assessment. This is where you analyze which areas of your company pose the highest risks to both your internal and external compliance. So for example, here in South Africa, you'll have to make sure your company is compliant with 3 main labor laws, including the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, the Labor Relations Act, and Employment Equity Act. So also remember that you will need to comply with other laws and regulations such as the Income Tax Act and Companies Act and other regulations that are governing the external compliance of a business. So let's look at a quick summary of the basic labor laws. So you have the Basic Conditions of Employment Act. So this law contains the requirements for working hours, annual leave, sick leave, maternity leave, and family responsibility leave. Whereas the Labor Relations Act, the purpose of the Labor Relations Act is not only to protect everyone in the workplace, but to also promote economic development. fair labor practices, peace, democracy, and social development. Then you have the Employment Equity Act. So this law is in place to prevent events of unfair discrimination. So every employer must take steps to promote equal opportunity in their workplace by eliminating unfair discrimination in any employment policy or practice. So remember, these are just summaries. It's important to look into each law and make sure you understand how it affects your business and how you can remain compliant. So once you understand the basic laws, you'll want to conduct a formal risk assessment where you will be able to look at the following items. Firstly, your recent litigations, then compliance complaints, employee claims, industry enforcement trends, and compliance policies in each risk area. Using this information, you'll be able to put together policies that are uniquely suited to meet the needs of your company while still being compliant. A large part of your company's policy will be to enforce an employee conduct. This will focus on who's responsible for managing the program, how employees should report misconduct, and disciplinary measures for violating the code of conduct. So the most important you as a business owner can do, short from having those policies in place, is ensuring that you properly train all employees. It's important that when complaints are brought, they are treated seriously and handled professionally. As a company, you are responsible for your employees and making sure that they are taken care of in the workplace. Also remember to set processes and procedures in place to monitor your compliance with the relative laws and regulations within the country. So rules and regulations are useless if they're not being followed. So you need to make sure that you have procedures and policies in place that allow you as a company to consistently make sure that you are being compliant with laws and regulations that apply to you. It's a continuous process that you can't just set it up one time and hope that it's going to run correctly. You need to make sure that you're monitoring your compliance consistently. A smart way to do this is to have somebody in the office who does a daily check or weekly check or even a monthly check on all the policies and procedures you're required to comply with. If you're concerned that your staff will struggle with the new structure compliance will bring, you can try a few different things. Firstly, you can do regular sessions to go through the compliance rules and regulations in a great way to make sure that everybody is kept up to date. It also means that there can be no excuse for the violation of these laws and regulations. Secondly, you can place posters around the office reminding people of the rules. Thirdly, make sure you bring up and address any concerns you have in your staff meeting. So in conclusion, you can now see that compliance is one, very important legally, and two, conducive to a productive and profitable work environment. So a large aspect of the compliance is prevention, making sure that you are legally and ethically doing the right things. But another aspect is creating an environment that breeds productive and profitable employees who know what is expected of them and that are compliant with those expectations. So remember, a healthy business is a productive business, and a productive business is a profitable business. So that's all we have for you today for our hashtag Finance Friday. See you next week. Bye.